It is extremely liberating to give up everything that you have and not have a worry or a care in the world, just to go. Monday I went back. I did make some, I did adapt a little bit. I gave up my backpack, and the gentleman, Lynn, fabricated a cart for me to pull. And I always say that I felt like an ass because I was just pulling a cart, right? But I'd like to have thought of it as my chariot, something regal and royal, and this is it. During my walk, I actually had an accountability coach. His name is Ryan Roy, and he helped me get through a lot of difficult times. One of the things that he told me to do, because he had greater insight into this walk than I did, was to document my walk on a daily basis. So I did, and normally in the mornings I would give an update.
Good morning, and thanks for checking in. Remember, today is an amazing day. If you woke up, everything else is just a bonus.
And then possibly if I felt strong enough, motivated enough, I would give another one during the middle of the day, possibly in the evening.
I am currently in Auburn, Illinois, and by the end of the week, I should be in St. Louis, Missouri.
What I realized is I started thinking more clearly, and because of that, I was reaching a different level of enlightenment. Now, one of my friends, her name is Angie Deveros, she said, people are going to walk with you. And I thought, you are crazier than me to think that, because who's going to walk with some stranger for no particular good reason? But she was right. In Springfield, Illinois, I met Lauren Crocker. She stopped on the side of the road, gave me some water one day, and she told me that she had hiked sometimes. I thought that was awesome. Well, a day later, she actually asked if she could walk with me. She said she was thinking about walking for 4 days, which I was like, well, that's cool. Sure, why not? And she showed up, which is absolutely surprising to me. She walked for 21 miles that day. 21 miles in a day is ridiculously long, especially since you had not prepped at all. And her body was beaten up pretty bad. The next day, she only made it 10 miles, and she had to stop. But I was so proud of her, like, just to get up and do that, even if it was to get her mind off something else. I was walking through St. Louis, and it's very difficult to do wild camping in the city, right? You're scared of police. You don't know if you're in a great neighborhood. So I stopped into a bar and asked if they knew any place where I could possibly camp. And the 5 people, which I call zombies, they were so not alive in there, they told me that they didn't know. And so I walked out a little dejected, thinking, I'm not going to find a place. I held that thought for maybe 10 seconds, and then I let it go. And I said, whatever's going to happen, like, God's going to take care of this. And so I continued walking, and God took care of it. in the form of an intellectual cynic named Jack Kohler. He pulled up in a raggedy pickup truck with like a camper top on it. He had seen my sign and he was driving to this crawfish boil. And when he pulled up, it wasn't the first thing that he told me, but he said, you know, if I didn't come back, it would have bothered me all night. But he asked me maybe 3 questions. First one was, hey, where are you going? And I told him Santa Monica. He swore a little bit. I said, no, really, like that's where I'm going. And he said, where did you start? And I said, well, Chicago. And he's like, wow. He said, I've been thinking about doing that, something similar to that, for the past 16 to 18 months. And I asked him, so why aren't you walking? This baffled him. He was like surprised and stunned. And he was like, man, like that's a good question. And he shrugged and he moved on. He moved on from it. He actually asked me how I was going to get through the desert. I love when I tell this story because he was thinking so far ahead and I was just thinking about that day. Jack asked me if I wanted to go to a crawfish boil with him, and I was happy to go. And the rest of the night, we spent together, basically, talking. He took me to a couple places. He let me sleep on his couch. In the morning, he took me to breakfast and gave me $100. Through the whole time, we talked about why he wasn't walking. And the next morning when I left him, there was a feeling, like just in my gut, that I knew he was going to walk with me. I didn't realize how far he was going, though.